Hello drama lovers, welcome back to my channel. Breaking news. When the first teaser dropped, the internet froze. Dilraba Dilmurat, the ethereal goddess of C-drama, appeared not just as a beauty icon, but as a living myth. And beside her, Deng Wei, quiet, mysterious, and magnetic. Together, they became something bigger than a drama. They became a cultural storm. But what exactly about their transformation as Chang'e made millions lose sleep and hearts? Let us dive into the phenomenon that is redefining what legendary means in modern Asian cinema. It started with a single frame, moonlight brushing across Dilraba's porcelain skin, her eyes carrying centuries of sorrow and strength. In that moment, the legend of Chang'e wasn't just a fantasy drama. It felt like witnessing the rebirth of a myth in real time. For years, Dilraba Dilmurat has been celebrated as one of China's most beautiful and versatile actresses. But here, she wasn't just Dilraba. She was Chang'e, the goddess who ascended to the moon, leaving love behind on Earth. And somehow, through the camera's lens, her transformation became heartbreakingly believable. The production team revealed that Dilraba spent months studying traditional dance, historical posture, and emotional breathing, the way a goddess might carry centuries of solitude in her gestures. Each movement in the drama, every glance toward the sky, carried a kind of silence that said, "I've seen worlds rise and fall." Then came Deng Wei. The moment he appeared, wearing silver robes and eyes that mirrored the night sky, fans knew this wasn't just another fantasy role. Deng Wei brought gravity, a stillness that drew viewers in. If Dilraba's Chang'e was light, he was her shadow, grounding, powerful, tragic. The internet exploded. Clips from the teaser reached over 300 million views within days. Weibo trended with hashtags like Dilraba's Change and Deng Wei Moon God, while fans across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram described the pair as celestial perfection. But it wasn't just about beauty or acting, it was about emotion. The audience felt something they couldn't explain. It was nostalgia, awe, and heartbreak, all wrapped into a single image of Dilraba standing under the moon. And that's where the magic began, when a drama stopped being just a story and started becoming a shared emotional event. In Chinese mythology, Chang'e's story has always been one of love and loss, a tale of sacrifice and immortality. But in this adaptation, Dilraba's portrayal adds something different. She's not just the goddess of the moon, she's the woman who remembers what it felt like to be human. The director described her as a bridge between heaven and heart. Every scene is painted in contrast, celestial elegance meets human longing. And this duality is where Dilraba truly shines. Her beauty has always been mesmerizing, but here, it's haunting. Under the cold moonlight, her eyes aren't just beautiful, they're lonely. Her smile carries both grace and grief, and that's what makes people stop scrolling, stop breathing, and just feel. Deng Wei's transformation, on the other hand, is the quiet revolution of this drama. He doesn't need grand gestures, his silence speaks. In interviews, Deng Wei admitted he studied emotional restraint, learning to express depth through stillness. He said, "Sometimes, pain doesn't scream. It whispers." And that whisper became the heartbeat of the series. The chemistry between them isn't loud, it's cosmic. It's the kind of connection that feels written in the stars, yet forbidden by destiny. Cinematically, everything aligns: the lighting, the score, the pacing. It's like watching poetry unfold frame by frame. Even critics who once dismissed fantasy dramas began calling the legend of Chang'e a visual symphony. But beyond visuals, it's the emotional realism that broke through cultural walls. Fans from Korea, Thailand, and even Latin America said they cried watching the trailer even without subtitles. That's how universal this story became. Behind every flawless frame, there's a story of pain, persistence, and personal rebirth. For Dilraba, this drama came after months of silence, no major projects, no public appearances, and endless rumors. Some fans worried she was taking a step back from acting. But as it turns out, she was preparing for this. In an emotional behind-the-scenes clip, Dilraba confessed, "I wanted to disappear for a while to understand who I am beyond the spotlight." And when she returned, she didn't just act, she became. Her performance as Chang'e feels like a message: I have loved, I have lost, but I am still here shining. Meanwhile, Deng Wei's journey was equally powerful. Once typecast as the gentle supporting man, he shattered that image completely. His portrayal of the celestial warrior isn't about strength, it's about restraint, heartbreak, and devotion that transcends lifetimes. Fans began calling him the reincarnation of tragedy itself. Even off-screen, their dynamic became the heart of fandom conversations. They weren't selling chemistry, they were chemistry. From silent glances during interviews to unscripted laughter in behind-the-scenes reels, their connection felt genuine, almost sacred. It's rare for a drama to make viewers feel like they're witnessing something divine, but the legend of Chang'e achieved it. It reminded everyone that storytelling at its best isn't about spectacle. It's about emotion. It's about seeing yourself in gods, myths, and impossible love stories. When Dilraba looks toward the moon in that final scene, we don't just see Chang'e longing for her lost love, we see every person who has ever had to let go of something they couldn't keep. Maybe that's why millions cried watching her ascend in silence. Because in her eyes, we saw ourselves. In her story, we remembered our own. Deng Wei's final whisper, "Even if lifetimes separate us, I'll find you beyond the stars," wasn't just a line. It became a promise echoed across fandoms worldwide. And that's what this phenomenon really is: not hype, not marketing, but connection. Two actors embodying love, loss, and destiny so perfectly that the world couldn't look away. When the credits rolled, one comment stood out: "I didn't watch a drama. I witnessed a legend reborn." If this story touched you, don't just scroll away. Share it with someone who believes love can outlive lifetimes. Because legends like this don't just belong to screens, they belong to hearts that still dream. Follow us for more stories that